The latest now on the Israel-Gaza war, and Israel has begun a new offensive aimed at taking control of parts of Gaza. The military said it had carried out extensive strikes and was mobilising troops. Israel also dropped leaflets across northern Gaza telling Palestinians to leave the area. On Friday, 100 people were killed in northern Gaza, according to Palestinian authorities, with more than 250 people killed since Thursday morning. It marks the largest ground assault on northern Gaza since Israel resumed its offensive in March. The IDF says it struck what it called more than 150 terror targets throughout the Gaza Strip over the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, the United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has condemned Israel for its escalating bombardments of Gaza, saying it's apparently seeking to permanently displace the population and that this amounts to ethnic cleansing. Well, our correspondent Wira Davis is in Jerusalem with the latest.
Well, it's no surprise this had been threatened, this had been promised by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, that this enhanced, advanced military push into Gaza would happen. What we've seen all week, actually, is steadily increasing Israeli military activity in Gaza. That culminated in Friday in the biggest military operation we've seen for a couple of months now. That was an assault from sea, land and air in northern Gaza. And overnight, the IDF, the Israeli military, has said that Operation Gideon's Chariots, as it's been called, is now basically underway. And that is part of a push which involves thousands of Israeli reservists as well as regular soldiers planning to go into Gaza, to occupy much of Gaza and remain there, and to push much of the Gazan population towards the south of the territory. The goal, says Israel, is to finally defeat Hamas once and for all and to secure the release of the remaining hostages. But it's been much criticised, not just here in Israel, because of course the concerns about what that might mean for the remaining hostages, but also by many governments around the region and around the world, insofar also as the humanitarian crisis, as we know in Gaza, is steadily worsening. So the latest reports we've had this morning are that Israeli military operations on the ground are happening in central Gaza around Deir al-Balah. According to reports from Gaza's Civil Defense Agency, there have been several deaths this morning in Israeli airstrikes. So at least 250 people killed over the last couple of days as this Operation Gideon's Chariots gets underway.
You mentioned the aid situation. There were these reports of an alternative US-backed proposal to deliver aid to Gaza, and I found it quite interesting that President Trump, in an interview with Fox News, even saying that a lot of people are starving.
Yeah, well, look, Israel is coming under increasing pressure from its allies, governments around the region, to lift this embargo, this blockade that has been in place now for more than 10 weeks. No food, no fuel, no medicines have been allowed in. There is an impending famine, says the UN, in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of people are facing starvation because of the lack of food. And there is pressure, not just from the UN, but from governments like the US. Donald Trump said last night, a lot of people are starving. It has to be taken care of. The American Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said he was troubled by the humanitarian situation in Gaza. The UN says it's ready. It has tens of thousands of tons of aid waiting on the border to go in and to be distributed. But Israel has, according to many in the Israeli government, lost confidence in the UN, and is trying to organise a separate mechanism, an American-backed private initiative to get aid in. But the UN says, what is the point? Those people don't have the facilities on the ground that we do. Let the UN take care of this. Let the World Food Programme, let the World Health Organization take care of this. They're ready and happy to do it, but thus far Israel has been resisting those calls to allow aid in and to ease the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
There was, I know it was faint hope with Donald Trump in the region that there may be some progress on the ceasefire talks. That hope has gone away now.
It hasn't been completely extinguished. My understanding is that Israeli negotiators remained in Doha overnight. But you're right, Donald Trump has left the region. The understanding was that this new ceasefire proposal, the Witkoff plan, would only really be on the table for the duration of Donald Trump's visit to the Middle East. There are elements of the plan which aren't agreeable either to Hamas or to the Israelis, and all of the noises we're getting through back channels are that there's been no progress at all in the ceasefire talks. In many ways it's a tragedy, because in the previous ceasefire dozens of Israeli hostages were released, hundreds of Palestinians were freed from Israeli jails.